There are 12 false beliefs that have held most of the clients back that we'd worked with, and even the ones that we didn't work with. Over the last 14 and a half, almost 15 years, we've helped companies generate well over 300 million. And in that time period, most of what we've had to fix, at least the toughest part of what we had to fix, was the belief systems of the founders or the CEOs, and in some cases, the heads of marketing. The one thing about what I'm going to share with you in this video is I've got 12 false beliefs or things about the mindset of marketing that need to be changed, especially if you're thinking about growing into this new coming year. Let me tell you why this is so important right now. Things are changing extremely fast. ChatGPT just launched ChatGPT Atlas, brand new browser. Perplexity just launched Comet, brand new browser. AI overviews are changing the way search is showing up on Google. And they already, of course, have the number one browser still to this day at Chrome. Social media isn't really social media anymore. It's more like interest media. So much is changing. So if you don't get these false beliefs corrected, and I'm not suggesting all 12 of these are affecting you, but I want you to stick around. False belief number one: if we just post more, we'll get more clients or customers. Posting more meaning on social. Listen, today, especially in an AI world with ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, it's all amazing stuff, you guys. You know that. But listen, outputs don't equal outcomes. And what's happening right now is a lot of business owners are sending their marketing to people who are just cool with the technology, who are using it to do outputs, but they're not getting outcomes. Here's the shift that we talk about making in our agency and for our clients. And that is, you must think about packaging your offers, your content, your funnels, your campaigns with the help of AI that matches all three parts of the buyer's journey. And that is the awareness, consideration, and decision stage. False belief number two: I need more leads. Doesn't mean you don't need leads, but sometimes they think that the lead flow or the volume is the problem. They think generally it's a volume problem. And most of the time when we uncover it, it's a conversion or follow-up problem. The vast majority of the clients we work with, it isn't that they couldn't use more leads to grow their business and scale. That's true, but we can't start with just filling the funnel with more leads if you have a conversion problem, if you have a CRM full of old leads that you haven't converted, if you have a database of, I think one of our clients had 30,000 customers, of which they should have had repurchases at a certain rate every 6 months, and they weren't doing that. We believe in a bottom up optimization approach, which means start from the bottom, which is, who do we already have as an existing customer? Have they bought recently? If not, why? If they haven't bought and they don't have a need to buy, have they referred us? And we work our way back up. Leads go all the way back to the top of the funnel. We'll get there, but we want to optimize from the bottom. False belief number three: marketing is about tactics and channels. Today it's really easy to see something going well on TikTok, or you see this YouTube channel doing a certain kind of thing that you're not doing, or you're seeing someone post a certain kind of way on Instagram and Threads or Blue Sky or whatever the platform is today. But the truth of the matter is, you definitely have to have a strategy and a messaging framework that's right for your brand. And the key is, you've got to be on the channel or two that make the most sense. There's no way even some of the biggest brands should be spending time on all 7, 8, 9 platforms that are available today. The goal is narrow it down to one or two. In MindShift, we say that complexity is the enemy of progress. And if you are trying to do too much too fast, it's going to slow things down. False belief number four: I can outsource my growth and be done with it. This comes from the many times I've sat in a strategy session or in our sprint process, and the CEO or founder will tell me how they wrote a check for, or they signed an agreement for, and they went off and did their thing, whether that was their technical thing, if they practice law, it could have been that they specialize in a different area of the business, maybe operations. But somewhere along the line, they wrote the check, signed the credit card agreement, signed the contract, and they disappeared. And here's what I want to say: you don't have to understand everything that's going on in marketing. What you do have to do is, you can't abdicate leadership to even the best of people, including our agency. When we come in and partner with you, we must have a captain of the ship on your team working with us. Now, if you don't want to be that captain, then you got to find someone on your team to do that. But you can't just disappear. Now, when we have companies where the CEO founder is just too busy, we have a cadence and a rhythm to make sure that you're kept informed of every single decision that we're making. But you can't just write the check and disappear. False belief number five: if my product is great, people will find me. Listen, you already know the old adage, if you build it, they will come. You know it's not true. I can't tell you how many companies I've seen, and it's just unbelievable how many great products or services I've seen. Restaurants, this is maybe not your business, but I had a restaurant. I was living in this apartment complex decades ago, and it was a soul food restaurant. It was just over the wall from my apartment complex. I mean, I could be from my apartment to that restaurant in probably 2.5 minutes tops. And that's if I got stuck climbing over the wall. And I didn't know they were there until they were going out of business. And then I ended up going in there, and the food was phenomenal. The problem is that we don't market to the people that are we're trying to get become aware. If we don't have a model for making sure people know who we are, what we do, why we do it, when they can find it and get it, when they're ready, then it doesn't matter how good your product is. False belief number 6, marketing is an expense. I can't tell you how often I talk to marketers and they are proud that they only spent a certain little bit of money in marketing. They will tell me that they either had to cut marketing because things got tough, or they let their marketer go because things changed in the economy. The very interesting part about that is if marketing is done right, it's a growth engine. It's not something that you just decide to cut when you want to cut it. I think it was Henry Ford that gets credit for it. I can't say that he said it because I wasn't back sitting at the table when I heard it, but I think he said the person who stops marketing and advertising to save money is like the person who stops their watch or their clock to save time, right? I can't prove that that's what he said, but that's what I heard. It is so true that if you don't have a consistent line item for marketing, whether it's working or not, it tells me you're not invested to grow. False belief number 7, I need to fix my logo or my website before we can market. Listen, branding is important, don't get me wrong, but it actually delays your growth and keeps you stuck. One of the mind shifts we bring to people is that the biggest thing you can spend time working on is your offer and your customer acquisition journey, not so much the color, the pixel, the website. We oftentimes will punt a website redesign down the road for 6 to 12 months so we can prove that the offer, buyer's journey, and the conversion model works. It'll save you tens of thousands of dollars. If not, I saw in one case $100,000 for one of our clients. False belief number 8, I can wait until later to figure out what's going on with AI. Let everybody else figure it out first, and I'll catch up later. Listen, I'm going to say that I even said this in a meeting the other day. AI and the change right now, it is moving at a speed of unreal. It's moving at a speed of unbelievable. The pace of change today is obnoxious, but we can't put our head in the sand and underestimate the power of what AI can bring to the table. When we went all in, and I mean all in, we started using AI in 2021, something like that. But when ChatGPT came out and we went all in 2023, we've seen just unbelievable input, productivity, streamlining, cut costs, all of that. You've got to learn where to integrate AI right now. And I get it. You need someone to help you with that. And sometimes it can feel overwhelming. And you also got to make sure it's not in a silo. False belief number 9. If we just hire more salespeople or a salesperson, they will fix our revenue problem. So listen, at the end of the day, salespeople are great at converting demand, not generating demand. Some people are able to go out and build a relationship, do the marketing, and then carry it all the way through to the finish line. But if you know your business, most salespeople are good at converting demand. That's where marketing and sales must work together. And we spend a lot of time working on marketing and sales alignment in our work. False belief number 10, more traffic equals more sales. Almost everyone, probably 80% of the people that reach out to our agency the last 14, 15 years, almost always are asking us to drive more traffic. Back in those days, it was SEO. They wanted to be on the first page of Google. They wanted to rank for these keywords, et cetera, et cetera. The reality is just ranking or just getting more traffic today, whether that's through paid media or organic, isn't necessarily going to drive more business. The reason why is that you don't understand the basis of how people search the internet. There's essentially 4 different reasons why they search it. One is for information, one is for commercial intent, one is for navigation, and one is for transaction. But a lot of times you're saying you just want to rank on the first page of Google for a transaction. It's not going to necessarily work if you don't have the right message at the right time for the right person. False belief number 11, I don't have time for marketing. Listen, I have seen for how many founders, owners, CEOs, they just put marketing on the back burner because they built a sales engine. Maybe they've got a frontline sales team. Maybe they're still pounding the pavement, knocking doors, cold calling, doing drop buys, whatever that may be. But listen, if you don't prioritize digital marketing today, you're going to end up stagnating and then declining. And by the time you start to think about taking it seriously, it could be too late. False belief number 12, marketing doesn't work with my industry. The challenge with believing that marketing doesn't work in your industry is not really what they mean. When a CEO tells me that, what they're saying really is that we've built our business a different way and we really don't understand how to effectively do it online. I just had a meeting with a multiple 8-figure company, and they've done it the old traditional way. They've been in business 20 something years. What they're really saying is they don't know what to do. There's a resource and there's a way to figure that out. Okay. Every industry has a buyer's journey that starts online. The goal is to figure out the psychology of what they're doing today that they may not have been doing back in the day. Doesn't mean your offline strategies don't work. At the very least, these are the 12 that hit me after I was having this conversation, mind shifts, if you will. We call them false beliefs that we have to help shift their mind because in our world, before we start doing a lot of things with our clients, we want to make sure we're all aligned with the right mindset. And I know that can sound woo woo to some, but I've been in enough meetings and our team's been in enough meetings for 15 years to know that we are fighting the mindset more than it is the tactics and the strategy. We've got enough to deal with all the changes going on with Google, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini, Facebook, Meta, Instagram, Blue Sky, you name it, Twitter, X. There's enough going on the platforms we don't own. We better be aligned on these topics in our room when we're building strategies to execute and plan to partner together. Okay, I'm not sure if any of those 12 resonated with you today, but if they did, let me know which one it was down in the comments below. And if you have a follow up question, something that you're dealing with, something that you're struggling with, I'm happy to come back and answer your question in the comments below. And if these 12 false beliefs triggered anything in you, I'd recommend that you watch one of these videos here or there. I think it's going to show up over there. All right, I'll see you next time. Take care.